What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday, assuming this is going to be Wednesday's video. Mark with Gutturals Academy here, and today we're getting punchy, we're getting shouty, we're getting angry, because we're doing Left to Suffer, Loathe. Now, interestingly enough, my Discord, our patrons have been talking about this song, and they're like, hey, you should do it. So I've avoided listening to it. As I understand it, this song is about a year old, so as always, I'm behind the times, as is my way. So today we're going to talk about it, we're going to break it down. I've heard other music by this band, and it goes hard. This is Punch Your Buddy music for sure. So we're going to go ahead and check it out. Now, if you're new to the channel, what we do is we take the reaction format, we break it down, we try to make it fun and educational, so hopefully you learn something too from this. If you enjoy the content, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the algorithm, makes me feel good, and also, we have shirts now. I talked about it in the last video, but on our YouTube channel, go to the store tab and check out some of the shirts. If you see a design you like, feel free to pick it up. Rep the Gutturals Academy brand if you feel so inclined. And always, you know, if you enjoy these videos and you want to see more of them, check out our Patreon. We have a really cool Discord where we've been having more and more community events. Plus, you get to vote on one reaction video a month. So, pretty awesome, pretty dope. All right, let's get angry. Let's get pissed. Here we go. All right, yo, okay. So this vocalist is a baller. This guy is seriously good. So let's talk a little bit. First of all, a lot of time on this channel lately we've been getting very, very melodic, but like it's kind of good to just get to our pissed off roots. Just this sound, right? So they're nailing it. One thing that's really cool about this vocalist is he's playing with varying degrees of compression and varying placements. So we have kind of like your quintessential like false chord grunt, false chord scream, right? That he's moving in and out. Sometimes he's putting it lower, utilizing his tongue and his lips. Right? Other times he's opening it up and letting it be a little bit more breathy. Which is really cool. You can take one technique and make it sound like multiple techniques just by relaxing and letting a little bit more air through. He's also doing like a really well controlled, a really good sounding hardcore shout. I. One thing I heard him do that was really neat is he combined that hardcore shout with a little bit of false chord engagement. Yeah, he did better than that. I'd have to listen to it a couple more times, but it was definitely like a combination of these two things. And then he did this really, we're gonna go back, he did this really like nice, thin guttural. Gutturals don't always have to sound hollow. For anybody who may be new to this stuff, a guttural, generally speaking, the term can change depending on who you're talking to, but generally speaking, a guttural is a vocal style, a low vocal style, can be false chord, can be fry, where we create as much space in our mouths as is comfortable and possible, and we let the resonance roll around as much as we can before it escapes, and it gives it this hollow, like, type of sound, right? And oftentimes people think the guttural needs to be low, but this guy, he gets like this really high tone. I'm gonna go back like 10 seconds or so, because this is a banger, and I want to see if I can find that as well. Yeah, so that was really cool. One thing that if you want to make your metal vocals a little bit more dynamic, take the same technique and play around with placement, right? So he's got that really low, really hollow, probably a couple vocal layers. That's really standard. We all do it, right? You hear how there's a little bit more air coming through there? Right, he's doing a lot of that, and he's doing it really well. Let's keep going.
In the space of fucking madness, when I'm so afraid, the spiraling entity stuck in my brain, crafted, when I was persona, threatening to tear me apart.
Yeah.
Feels like I've been sleeping, locked away from the world unknown. Feels like the glass is breaking, set free as you lose control.
Nice.
The population is bleeding me dry. My brain as I rise from the lane, deep into my bones, I only feel the end. What happens over and over again? Separation that fucks with my head. Bullshit, I am constantly fed. Little tell me I wish I was dead.
Yo, okay, so yeah, his main thing, like I'm starting to get a good feel for him. His main thing is adding contrast by varying compression, and also playing around with the balance between his true voice, which is more of that shout, I, and then just the pure false chord, right? If you want to start to just kind of practice this stuff at home, you're not really sure where to start, practice just kind of grunting, low volume, not low in your throat, low volume, around your speaking voice, If you can get that sound, you believe it or not, you are well on your way. Just this. He also did this really cool like pitch sound. I think he said it feels like I've been dreaming. I think that I've been dreaming, something like that. Maybe here.
Feels like I've been sleeping.
Feels like I've been sleeping. So that's really cool too. This is gonna be where our screams start to feel more like a belt. And the reason I'm saying a belt over shout, although we certainly can use that term, is because we're not, as metal vocalists, we don't just shout unintentionally, right? We don't do that. What we do is we have a lot of control, right? We are plugged into our system. We're holding our ribs out, we're using our abdominal muscles, feeling downward pressure, bearing down into our support, and we have this yeah, right about there. And that's gonna give us kind of a sound, it feels like I've been sleeping, right? If you can do this again, and combine it with that support, remember, your abdominal muscles are what squeezes the base of the bicorn. I like to use this analogy of our bodies being like bicorns, right? Right? There we go. And if I squeeze that bicorn, it's totally funny, but if I squeeze my stomach, I can make vocalization come out. Right? In doing so, obviously we can't get up on stage and use our hands like that. But what we can do is we can breathe in, hold the ribs out, engage the ribs, so we're building up a pressurized reserve. It feels like I've been sleeping! And these sounds will come out very, very easily. That's really cool though. Let's keep going. I love that. I love that.
Feels like I've been sleeping, locked away from the world unknown. Feels like the glass is breaking, set free as you lose control. The population is bleeding me dry. My brain as I rise from the lane, deep into my bones, I only feel the end. What happens over and over again?
Yo, that bark was sick. Oh man, I want to hear that one more time. Just that little bark.
Separation has fucked with my head. Bullshit, I am constantly fed. Little to me, I wish I was dead.
Yes, let's talk about that. So one of the oldest, most quintessential false chord metal vocal exercises is barking like a dog, right? But you can hear clearly that there is something going on here that's a lot different than just like a oof, 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 right? That's a false chord vocal, but it's a very like entry level, easy to manage false chord vocal, which by the way, that doesn't mean it's bad. This sound, yeah, you can do so many cool things with that. What we have here is we have a false chord vocal that's fairly compressed. Now, there are different ways we can compress our vocals. Not that many different ways, but there are different ways that we can compress our vocals. And what we're doing is we're basically just managing the airflow. That's what that really means, right? I don't love the term compression because it kind of makes you think of like over squeezing your muscles. But really what it just means is taking your airflow and narrowing it a little bit. Like for example, if I go, that's really open. If I go, I've used my lips to narrow and manage that airstream. It's a permissive act. I'm not holding the air back. I'm allowing the air to come through, but on my terms, right? And so one of the ways that we do that with false chord vocals is we engage a little bit of a squeeze around the pharyngeal area. One of my students actually said that this is how they learned to do it. So thank you for this analogy, which I'm going to borrow. I asked them if I could use it. They said yes. But one of my students talked about it feels like kind of when you gargle. You tilt your head back, you gargle some water, you know, kind of like this. And you'll feel a small amount of muscle engagement here in the back of the mouth. The pharynx, by the way, is the open space in the back of the mouth. It's an open area. It's not one muscle, right? And if we engage, sorry, I choked on a little bit of that water. If we engage those muscles, add a little bit of squeeze to the tongue, and stay relaxed south of the tongue, right? We stay relaxed. We don't squeeze around our vocal folds. We can turn this into now that sound is still feeling predominantly behind my tongue and up. It's not down here because I'm not pushing my larynx down and I'm not squeezing around the vocal folds. Now combine this with a little bit of a bark. And we get this kind of sound, and he's just this huge hollow voice that I love. Now, we're going to talk about it a little bit, but he, again, starts with a little bit of breathiness. Like if I was to take some of his screams and make them slow motion, he starts with a little bit of breathiness. We've got that, you know, aspirate onset, that breathy onset, and then he closes around that airflow. That takes a lot of coordination, by the way. So this dude's pretty talented. This sort of like that close. Good job. Good job. Really well done. So sick. So sick.
I can't stand myself. Yo, we've got the, it says it in the title, but we've got
Jacob Wallace, bro job vocalist, killing it. He does a couple really cool things here. Also, I love the way that they layered in high vocals with him just then. The high vocals weren't like right in line with it. They were a little bit back, just adding some flavor. I want to talk, first of all, he sounds so good. At one point I did kind of like this thing, but that wasn't bad. That was like stop being so talented is essentially what I meant by this face. But let's listen to his little outro again. Little outro, it was huge. He does this really cool like open cavernous guttural to like sort of a low placed pig squeal noise that I want to kind of dig into a little bit. But let's check this out.
I can sense myself.
So that's a really cool sound. That is a really cool sound. It sounds like to me, I'm just kind of putting these pieces together in the moment, but it sounds like to me he's starting with a really relaxed, really low volume, really low effort false chord low, which by the way, with your false chord noises, low effort is generally better. So I'm not like low effort as in like not trying, I'm talking about low effort as in no extra muscle movement that we don't need, right? So we have like this, sounds like he's starting with his lips closed, and then he's sliding the tongue forward. Again, this is a little bit of guesswork, so hey, Mr. Wallace, if you see this, feel free to correct me down in the comments below, or if you make this noise, feel free to talk about it. But it sounds like the lips are starting close together, if not completely closed, and he's sort of really loosely saying, this is almost turning into an L. Sounds pretty close. Pretty close. Let's hear it one more time and then I'm gonna shush. Yo! Yo, that's dirty. That's some dirty. Those are those dirty vocals all the kids are talking about these days. All right, so that is Loathe by Left to Suffer. That song hits. Song hits. Punch your buddy music right there. Okay, so let's kind of review. Let's kind of pull it back. So, a couple things that we can think about. First and foremost, if you want to do any of the type of screams that he did, any of them, all of them, right? Feel free to start with just a low effort, a low intensity grunt. And your goal is to find a place where your vocal folds aren't touching. That's usually one of the main things my students and I work on. We start there, keeping your vocal folds out of the mix. I accidentally just did a Spock. Whoops, keeping your vocal folds out of the mix. Anyways, so this engage a little bit of activation in the pharynx behind. And if you want your tone to be a little bit bigger, one thing that you can usually do to see some immediate results, we all have to play around with it a little bit, but to see some more immediate results, what you can do is you can get your tongue kind of in this guttural position, disconnect it and pull it back about halfway, You see how that already makes my voice sound pretty muffled in a way, but also a little bit more resonant too from the size of my mouth and from the sound waves kind of bouncing off the back of my tongue. Right? So, again, thank you for hanging out. That song was sick as hell. Great job. I can't remember the name, but to the vocalists of Left to Suffer, excellent control, excellent job moving in and out of those different styles and techniques. If you enjoyed the video, everyone, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. It means a lot to me. Again, we do have a Patreon if you want to vote on videos for me to react to, or you want to hang out in our Discord, play games, talk all around the clock. You are more than welcome. Again, feel free to check out the shirts on the store. Pretty exciting stuff. And as always, many thanks, much love. I'm out.